I'm standing underneath a plant that grows hundreds of pounds of fruit that we never fertilize, we never water, we never have to spray for pests. It is such an amazing crop that we absolutely love, and unfortunately a lot of people just don't know enough about it. We're going to talk all about the shagbark hickory. The shagbark hickory gets its name from the very indicative shaggy bark. This tree is absolutely incredible, and when we bought the farm, there's two here on the property, and these trees are so easily identifiable. They are absolutely massive. I mean, this tree right here is probably, I would say has a circumference of, I'm a big guy. I can't even reach halfway around this tree. This thing is absolutely huge, and it produces an incredible harvest of nuts. Now, I know that here on My Gardener, we talk all about vegetables and fruits, and we haven't really talked all that much about nuts. Now, we do have some nut trees planted. We have some hickory nuts planted. We have some hazelnuts planted. We have a few acorn trees. We have a lot of different nut trees here on the property. We also have some black walnut in the back of the property. But we don't really talk all that much about nuts, and we're going to start talking a little bit more about them simply because, in my opinion, when it comes to nut trees, you really can't get a better producer for just the set and forget nature of it. When it comes to tomatoes, you gotta plant them in the spring, baby them, fertilize them, water them, harvest from them, make sure they don't get tomato hornworm and all that stuff. Whereas these hickory trees, they've been growing here probably since before the United States was even a thing. This tree is probably 150 years old, maybe 200 years old. Could be even older, I don't know. I haven't cut it down. I'm not gonna cut it down and count the rings, but judging by its size, it's massive. And it's seen some stuff. It's seen droughts, it's seen floods, it's seen the coldest of winters, it's seen the warmest of summers, and through it all, it just continues to grow and produce amazing, amazing harvests. And so we're gonna walk around, we're gonna get some of this harvest because a lot of people don't realize just how incredible the shagbark hickory nut actually is. When it comes to the fruits of the shagbark hickory, the nuts I should say, they're ready to be harvested when they easily release themselves from the tree. If you have to tug too hard, chances are, like that one, they're not ready yet. They should fall pretty freely from the tree. Now, a lot of people will just wait till they fall on the ground entirely. The problem with that I find is that when you harvest them from the tree, they don't have as much time to be accessed by insects like weevils or squirrels that can really kind of cause problems with your nut harvest. A lot of times they'll get to them prematurely and then you'll lose a lot of your harvest due to pest pressure. So letting them fall on the ground is very convenient. And when they fall on the ground, they split open. When they dry completely, they'll split open and they make this really incredible shape that lets you know that they're ready. It's kind of like, I would almost consider it like a pistachio. We all have seen a pistachio that is closed shut, and we've seen those pistachios as they begin to ripen and they open up. And that's kind of what shagbark hickories do as well. When they are ready to be consumed, they will slowly open up and kind of splay open, which is pretty awesome. So these are nuts we just harvested from the tree, and as you can see, they are obviously very green and very fresh. But with time, we're gonna leave them in the buckets and let them just dry out. As they start to dry out, as you can see, they're starting to open up. You can see that. They're starting to open up there, and they are naturally kind of opening up to show that nut on the inside. This one is completely dry, and you can see just how open it is. These are ones that we are going to break open and eat today. And that just happens just by letting them dry, putting them in a bucket, letting them dry, and just basically letting time do the work for you. Like I said, if you harvest them off the ground, you're gonna find that there are many times you'll get 1/10 the harvest you would have gotten because you have what's called a hickory weevil. That is actually where the weevil, it's an insect, will lay its egg inside of the fallen nut, and it allows the weevil the time to hatch, go into the ground, and lay dormant until the life cycle happens all over again the following summer. When then they go up, they lay their eggs in the fruits, they fall down, and the weevil hatches. A lot of times the nuts that are on the tree have not fallen prematurely because they don't have the weevil inside. So you're going to find some that have the weevil if you get them off the ground. And also, the moment they hit the ground, every squirrel in the neighborhood is coming for the nuts because the nuts are so delicious. They are very buttery and very soft. Some people have even kind of referred to them as the truffle of the nut world. And that's actually a nickname that was given to them just due to the high quality nature of the nut. Now, we'll eat some in a second, but they are incredible, absolutely incredible, and a resource that grows here and grows here very easily. The natives and pioneers have been eating from them for they ate from them hundreds of years, and some cultures around the world still prize them for just their culinary nature. So we're gonna harvest a few more, get a nice bucket full, and then we're gonna shuck them up. Now you can eat them raw, or you can roast them as well, but I just think they're amazing. I think they're phenomenal, and you couldn't be easier to grow. While I'm harvesting, I think we should also talk about maybe some growing tips for how to grow them. Even though I didn't plant these, you can actually buy a little seedling. You can buy some hickory nut seedlings and grow them at your house, and it couldn't be easier to grow. When it comes to growing hickory nuts, they couldn't be easier. The first thing you want to do is make sure that the soil is very loose. They do better in a loose, well-draining soil, free from standing water. Low areas do not grow hickory nuts very well. They're not going to survive, they're not going to die, but they certainly will not thrive. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are giving them a nice, loose, well-draining soil. Second thing is you want to make sure you fertilize them a lot, because when they're first growing, hickory nuts will perform a whole lot better in the presence of good fertilizer. So giving them a good fertile soil to help them to grow is going to be great. Fertilizing them twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall, is advisable as well. Now, make sure that when you do grow them, they are susceptible to one pest primarily, and that is tent caterpillars. If you start to get tent caterpillars, spraying them down with BT or spinosad are two great ways to organically get rid of tent caterpillars. They can actually completely decimate the foliage on your young hickory nut trees. We actually have some tent caterpillars right over there that are just hanging out on the tree. We just don't spray this tree because it's been growing here for, like I said, hundreds of years. So pretty simple to grow. And then as far as pH goes, they like a nice neutral pH to slightly acidic. So that's pretty easy to do as well. Obviously give them lots of space, because if you're gonna grow a hickory tree, the biggest mistake you can make is by planting it way too close to your house, because obviously you don't want squirrels getting into your house. You also don't want the tree limbs growing into the walls of your house, the sides of your house, knocking your siding or even interfering with electrical lines. So just make sure you plant it in a nice open area. I mean, we're talking, this is a tree, not a tomato plant. Common sense, but a lot of people plant a tree when it's itty bitty and they forget that it gets biggy, and just don't make that mistake. So other than that, it's pretty simple. The season's still pretty young for these, so we're not getting a ton yet, but in about a week, there's gonna be hundreds, if not thousands of nuts falling. So we're gonna come back, we're gonna open some of these up, and we're gonna try one on camera. Let's go. Alrighty, so we are going to harvest some of these here. So like I said, you wanna wait till the nuts start to split open like this. That happens when they're nice and dry. So all these green ones, they'll sit for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, let them completely dry out and split open. We're going to remove the outer husk. Don't throw the husk away. The husk actually makes an incredible hickory smoke for smoking meats. You could smoke meats or smoke vegetables, whatever you smoke, because it takes on the exact flavor when they're fully dry. You can actually throw them in your smoker, and you don't need to cut the tree down or use hickory wood to get the hickory flavor. People have been using hickory husks in their smoker for hundreds of years to add flavor to their foods. So save those for smoking purposes. So a couple different tactics here. Some people use pliers, some people use a hammer. Now, if you use a hammer, you just gotta be careful not to smack it too hard. Shoot, and that one was no good. Sometimes that's the nature of what you get. So obviously, when it comes to any type of learned experience, I go off of what people tell me, but then I compare that to the results that I see in real life. Now you can let them sit on the ground, as we found with a lot of the ones that had fallen and opened like this. But what we found is that the percentage of rotten and weevil-stricken nuts was really high. It's not to say it's easier to crack, yes, but the failure rate was really high. Took these ones that were still fairly green, but just starting, we pulled them off the tree, green, but they were just starting to show signs of like yellow, like they were drying and getting ready to fall off. Still fairly moisture rich compared to the ones that we were saving, or that we were grabbing earlier. But the nuts are much paler, and the seed or the nut inside, the meat inside, in my opinion, like light years better quality, in my opinion. It would be better even yet if it was roasted. So yeah, so there you go. There is the hickory nut, shagbark hickory nut. It is a tree that produces hundreds of pounds of food that does not require your attention, your intervention, and it can be a very easy one to grow. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. Hope you all will try growing hickory nuts. If you've tried growing hickory nuts or if you've eaten hickory nuts, let me know your thoughts in the comments box down below. And we'll catch you all on the next episode. Grow bigger, everybody. See ya. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, consider clicking this one. You'll probably enjoy it just as much. I want to thank you for your viewership, because without it, this channel would not be as amazing as it is. Also, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free, and we upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. We also have vegetable seeds, fertilizer, or tools. If you need any of those, consider visiting migardener.com. Links will be in the description box below. We've got you covered. And as always, we'll see you all in the garden. Take care.